how much of this challenge they can get done over the course of that 48 hours. So on the phone or on a Microsoft Teams session, I should have access to Andrew Pierce. Andrew, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I hope you are. I hope you're ready to show us what you guys were able to do, right?
Absolutely.
So let's start off again. So the option that we chose was the implementation of prompting on the pin pad for, let's say, donations or maybe roundup for charity or perhaps tips if you've got a food service restaurant. So I think one of the first things that the team worked on that you might be able to walk us through is the configuration screens for that feature. So I think that's what you've got on the screen now. So let me just preface this by saying this is based on our Passport Flex project, the HTML5 version of the point of sale and the manager workstation. So if it looks a little bit different, again, this is kind of what we're looking at as possibly the go forward look and feel for Passport. So this is where we actually implemented these features. Can you walk us through what the configuration of the screens look like?
Yeah, sure, Mike. I just want to call out my colleagues Lucas, Rodo, and Rob, and it's Rob and Rodo who are responsible for this. So the two things we're trying to look at here is for donations and tipping. And so Rob had quickly thrown a screen together for the donation setup in terms of being able to actually physically configure if I'm going to prompt for rounding up for donations, as happened to me at Harris Teeter on the weekend, or to be able to put custom setup in, for example, name a charity, select what options I'd like to appear to, $5, or put in specific custom amounts. And so, Rob got that sorted out, and also for tips as well, we wanted to try to do that. And one of the things that was obvious about that is that tips and donations end up looking quite similar by the time you've gone through this a little bit. So, quickly popped into the sort of the web Flex Manager Workstation demonstration that we have here, Mike.
Okay, that looks great. All right, so those are the configuration screens that allow us to do either donations or tips. And again, you'll see some of the things that you actually asked for in the roundup capability, that kind of thing. So the first thing I want to do is actually thank the folks who were able to show up to the session we had yesterday about innovation and how we do innovation at Gilbarco, because they gave us a lot of great feedback. And you'll actually hopefully see some of the things that you mentioned that we had not done yesterday that appeared over the last 24 hours since we had that session. So as we move into the actual screens for the sales and how that looks on the pin pad and at the point of sale, I do want to mention one thing. Probably this is why Andrew was a little reluctant in his answer about the 48 hours. He's a very literal person. One thing you may not know about Andrew, he actually builds and flies his own airplanes. So when you tell him something like 9.7 millimeters, he knows you mean 9.7 millimeters. When we said it was 48 hours, he said 48 hours from 4:30? Okay, and so he started working at 48 hours ago from right now, which is a little bit in advance of when we actually knew what project we were working on. So Andrew, being the optimistic person that he was, he chose one. Unfortunately, he chose the wrong one to actually start on 48 hours ago, and he started working on the weight scale. So perhaps, Andrew, you can show us what you were able to accomplish in 4 hours with the weight scale implementation. Have you got a picture of that?
So hopefully you have a picture of a scale now with any luck.
Yep, we can see the scale. It's live.
Excellent. That may be the last picture I show you because it's all getting very, very dangerous. Okay, so we have the scale there. I'm going to attempt, if you can now see the screen, I've got some delicious manchego cheese, which is Spanish.
It's switching to your screen. There it is.
Okay, very delicious. So we're going to bravely ask the scale to do something, and I'm going to place my fake manchego cheese, which is actually some mini-moos on the scale.
You can see that down the bottom right-hand corner.
Manchego cheese.
All right, so that weighed 0.57.
So yes, 0.57, and there you have it. So little scale integrated into that, which now allows us to move on to the proper stuff that you actually voted for. So
yes.
let's get on with that, Mike.
All right, so what would happen if I, say, wanted to do a roundup transaction?
Right, and so what we've done here, by the way, is we've actually hooked it up for a couple of different scenarios for when I press different types of items, we can demonstrate some of the stuff. So I'm going to click this donut here, which is a signal to it for it to do it. And so we're just going to drive it through. So it's going to pop up a donation for the associate, and I'm going to very bravely attempt to turn the camera on, and let's see what happens, shall we? And hopefully, can you see that, Mike?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so physically on the pin pad. So we're putting it on the Flex terminal and also on the pin pad. I'm going to go ahead and say yes for my incredibly exciting 5 cents. Going to go and add that in. And I'm going to try to swap it back, once again, very bravely. And we should have gone ahead and added the donation. So that was what we were demonstrating yesterday, I think.
So again, yeah, you're going to see that as the item of 5-cent donation that's added into the transaction to round it up to $14.
So I'm going to go ahead and avoid all of those, and let's keep on trucking. So one of the things that they were brought up is that the rounding, just generally, the people don't always want to run this way. So let's run a different way to do donations with the list. This would have been configured previously in the Manage to Workstation app. So this is an example where we're going to donate to the Red Cross, but we have fixed amounts physically set up. So in this case, I'm going to give them $2, which is exciting. So we'll move through that particular example. And then I'm going to very quickly move past that way, get rid of my apple. And stop me when this gets boring, Mike.
Well, actually, one thing I do want to just point out that in this case, we actually trigger the whole process by hitting the tender button. So that's at the end of the sale. That was based on some of the feedback that we got during our session yesterday. But we've also talked with other folks since then that maybe that's something we would want to add as a specific function button, which we have not done, but it's on the list of things that we could do as we move forward. All right, so if I sold beer, I think you also had an example based on the feedback, again, that we got yesterday during our session, that people wanted to be able to include not only fixed amount, but also the ability to round up, and that's one of the choices in your list. Is that right?
That is correct. So let's give this a go. So on the screen, you should see, okay, we've put round up physically in the list. I'm going to try to turn the camera on again, and we'll see what happens. And you can see this is courtesy of Mr. Lucas. You can see the buttons down below. We have the title. And I'm probably giving everybody motion sickness again from handling the camera. But I'm actually going to go ahead and choose the roundup option, which it says what the value is. One of the other things that was brought out of the meeting is that when it said round up, well, round up to what? So we'll try to put the value on that. I'll select it, and the customer would then get prompted, do I really, really want to do this? And I'm going to click yes and add it in that way. And so I'll now bounce back to the screen with any luck, and we should have a 61-cent donation on the screen.
That's fantastic. All right, works just as designed. All right, did you happen to have an example with, I think you saw percentages in the configuration screens. Is that there?
Yeah, that is correct as well. So we'll go ahead and give that a shot. We've got this one triggered off soda. So this will give an example. So if you wanted to show percentages, and this leads into the next conversation, and we'll show the percentage and the physical calculated value of the transaction that it would have been.
Excellent.
And yep, so I'll say no thanks to that one.
Okay. Was there also, I think we also had feedback during the session yesterday about the ability, people wanted to be able to enter their own amount. And I think that was one of the last examples we had for donation. Absolutely. So this is really just going through the various permutations and combinations that came out of yesterday's discussion. So we'll go with that one, and you can see, and for this one, I'll move to the pin pad once again, very bravely, hoping that teams will hold it together there. So on the list there, so it has a list of 50 cent, $1, enter amount, and no thanks. I'm actually going to click on enter amount. That should then go ahead and prompt me for the value that I want to enter in. So I'm going to type $4. I'm a very generous soul. And after that particular activity, it's going to confirm, is that really what you wanted to do? And up on the screen, I'm going to transition out of this for a second and go back to the screen. What the operator sees at this point is they're saying, hey, the customer needs to confirm the value. So operator gets to see what's going on. I'm going to click yes and add the donation to the transaction. So there we have it. All right. I think that actually exhausted our examples that we were asked to perform for donations. But there was one thing that we definitely wanted to add in, which was the ability to add a tip, which was a unique percentage on the transaction. So did you have that example?
We surely do. So for this, it's been set up to actually prompt for tips if items are entered in the transaction of a given department. And so our gourmet burger and gourmet hot dog are included in those. So I'm going to bravely click on gourmet burger there, go ahead and go to pay for it. And let's see what happens, shall we? So yeah, we'll put up a 15, an 18%, an enter amount, and a no thanks. And this would have been configurable from the store's perspective as to what they want to see in each of the slots.
That's fantastic. Okay. Did we meet any of your requirements? I certainly hope we did. I think for those who were in the session yesterday, for those that we bothered during lunch and at breakfast and while you're trying to run on break, we sure appreciate you guys giving us the input that you did. It just really cements in our own mind the value of going out and engaging with you as our customers and as the folks who use our products to actually to get us the information we need in order to make the products that we do meet your needs. So I want to thank you, but I also really want to thank the team. Andrew mentioned them really. But in Greensboro, North Carolina, we had Lucas Daniel rocking the pin pad development, Rob Campbell doing the configuration screens. Out of our office in Buenos Aires, Argentina, we had Rodrigo Varas, who was kind of a utility player doing whatever was required at the time. And then batting fourth out of Wake Forest, North Carolina, is Andrew Pierce as the Vegemite who holds it all together. Thank you guys for all that, that great, awesome development work. And yeah. But I would also like to thank you, the conference attendees, and anybody who is, again, those who are supporters of our products. I hope you get a sense of just how much we love doing what we do. And you guys are the inspiration for all that we put into the software, and you guys are the reason why we enjoy and show up to work every day and try to make the products that make your lives better and those of your customers. So again, thank you for your business. Thank you for being here. And I'd like to invite Chris Whitley on up to close out the session. Thanks again, Andrew.
Man, that was awesome. You know, the reason we've got the best point of sale in the industry is we've got the best team doing all that work for us, and they listen to the customers. So great job. That was outstanding.